Concept! Concept is an idea. It's the core embodiment that determines the overall design. It's overall laying down the foundation of what the project is or what's it going to be leading towards. I think that's it. Okay, wait, let me expand about it a little bit further. It's basically describing what the goals of the project is, or the inspirational drive of what you're trying to express or translate through, and really just a language about what it could be and what's driving the force of the project. But what is the general criteria of a concept? Well, the first being knowing your project's purpose. What kind of goals are you trying to achieve with the project that you're doing, or expression that you're trying to translate through? The goals, inspiration, and the purpose of that project. Some of the methods can be examples of the perspective of the views, the aesthetics, and maybe how it similarly looks. But the best way to simplify that is the typology. Typology is specifying the type of building or architecture, the techniques of interacting with those spaces. It could be the form or shape of a building or a house, the context around the location, the way it's structured, the way it's going to be constructed, or the principles of the design. A way that categorizes a group that shares the characteristics of a building and the way it's going to be designed. Usually it contains a criteria or a list of rules and regulations within that conceptual world that you're trying to build up to allowing that project to manifest itself through those ideas. It provides a minimal and subtle way of expression of what that design needs to be in result. The reality of the matter of concept is it's more lenient towards what you need to do and how are you going to do it. To summarize, it's what you need to do, what you want it to be, and how you make it possible is what the core element and the soul of what a concept is. But we came here to talk about a strong concept. What is a strong concept? It's like asking what is a Saiyan and what is a Super Saiyan? What is the way to elevate the idea into something more than even further than what it is? First one, context. When we think about the context, what kind of impact will it lead to not just the overall interior side of it, but the impact of the exterior, the environmental condition and the existing condition around that site? Or if we're talking from a design standpoint, what kind of impact will it have that's surrounding by the users or the location it's going to be placed in? And one of the most important questions, how long will it last? The positive and negatives of what's going to happen after construction. What was the condition before starting the process, during the process, and what do you anticipate afterwards? The form, attributes, and how the space is going to be arranged that affects the surrounding environment, or is it completely a new different atmosphere that you're trying to create? Whether it be residential or commercial or any type of experiential architectural spaces, it allows insight and thought and thinking to be expressed through those concepts. Which segues into our second point, the users. The users, or for abroad, community, plays an essential role to developing a strong concept, a way in which those ideas conceptually connect with the users and the context. A simple gesture to question the space and where that inspiration came from allows the interaction of the users to be immersive, a concept that unconsciously lays memory to the users. Whether it be neighbors or communities or individuals, they're the sole reason of allowing buildings and architecture to keep living. The beauty of concepts is that it can evolve, change, and form into something where it's molded and materialized collectively through engagement. A process that nurtures into a centralized idea. There will always be feedback and backlash and shared interests and positive and negative aspects of it, but it's that spark of interaction that really questions about the building itself and the concept of what drives that project to life. But the most important thing about a concept to the user is how is it going to solve the issues that it's currently in, or how can it contribute to the location itself? So collectively, users of the impact before and after, how it can be identified in a way of a strong concept to manifest from. Which goes into our last category for this criteria for now, practical. Although concepts can be abstractly creative or seems unimaginable or unrealistic in a sense, the practical side allows that vision to come to life and questions how we can make that possible. As they say, an idea is just a wish. To plan it through is a dream come to life, which allows the concepts to be manifested by the community, the environment, and overall inspiration to peak design. Transitioning from that is an example of an existing project. Oh my gosh, I gotta open this book. Tadao Ando's concept of Church of Light is such an incredibly strong concept. In that project, there is a tight budget regarding how it's going to be created, so the shape and form had to be boxed out. And the purpose of the church is to allow a religious significance. So the struggles and challenges of creating the concept was trying to find a way where it allows it to be within the budget, as well as using a connective means between the means of worship, which leads to the incredible design of leading to a cross and centralizing the light and use of the shadows within that space, creating a significant connection between the light and the user. And from that project onward, it's a success. The contextual use of the site with the light direction, community that manifested that space, as well as the practicality of constructing this to life. 3 important category figures combining into something more than just a concept. It's the soul of the building. It's what successfully leads that project into becoming more than just a built environment. It led to becoming architecture. The key word to accumulating all of this is connection. One sliver of connection that leads to each significant parts to the details, which brings about stars and constellations to become one massive image to the bigger picture. The sun, it's coming in. Connections allow a narrative, a story to which universally connects all those criterias into one. A story to which we can aspire to be or become inspired from. A dream, and that's the key word, the dream, the vision, the aspiration to become more than just what it is now, but aspire to be what wasn't, what can be, to become real, to become practical, to become meaningful, to become the dream, to become. But really the core foundation of what it really means to define that purpose in a concept, which is manifested from the spatial atmosphere of the site condition and the users. Concepts are very important value to the process of the design, especially in architecture where the inspiration came from, creating a story, a narrative that can awaken the users and prosper to new opportunities in which the designs can be unfolded into new ideas. The history, the context, all of that accumulates from the research and what does that apply to the principles that you're trying to create in the concept. So, concepts. Develop a strong concept. Ensure that your research that you go into developing a strong concept makes sense in a way where it intertwines and connects with the historical timeline as well. So, ensure that you have a good narrative, ensure that you have a good concept, and accumulate and consider the empathy behind those designs and ideas.
And remember, a strong concept stems from the connections that create a foundational level of purpose, meaning, and reasoning within a project.
Although this was a sort of a short video that describes the concepts of the ideas and how to develop a strong one, ensure that in the future, I'll be making more. I love developing concepts, and there is a department in where you can just focus on conceptual design in the field of architecture or in design. So there very much is an open avenue to experiential design or conceptual design. Okay, so how am I going to end this video?